Hello class 5. Today we'll start the new poem If I Were Lord of Tartary, written by Walter de la Mare. So first of all we'll read the poem. Now we'll read the first 10 lines of the poem. So it says that if I were Lord of Tartary, myself and me alone, my bed should be of ivory, of beaten gold my throne, and in my court should peacocks flaunt, and in my forest tigers haunt, and in my pools great fishes slant their fins athwart the sun. If I were Lord of Tartary, trumpeters every day to all my meals should summon me, and in my courtyards bray, and in the evening lamps should shine, yellow as honey, red as wine, while harp and flute and mandolin made music sweet and gay. If I were Lord of Tartary, I would wear a robe of beads. White and gold and green they would be, and small and thick as seeds. And ere should wane the morning star, I would don my robe and cimeter, and zebras 7 should draw my car through Tartary's dark glades. Lord of the fruits of Tartary, her rivers silver pale. Lord of the hills of Tartary, glen, thicket, wood and dale, her flashing stars, her scented breeze, her trembling lakes like foamless seas, her bird delighting citron trees in every purple vale. Now we'll look into the explanation of this poem, but before that let's see about the poet, that is Walter de la Mare. Now Walter de la Mare was an English poet as well as short story writer and a novelist. A novelist is a person who writes novels. Now why this Walter de la Mare was remembered? He was remembered for his works and especially writing short stories for children. And this poem, If I Were Lord of Tartary, was his famous work for children. And this poem is an imaginative and descriptive poem where he imagines various things and then he describes his imagination through this poem, If I Were Lord of Tartary. So what this poem is all about? This is a fantastic poet by Walter de la Mare. Now, in this poem, he considered himself the Lord of Tartary, an imaginative, glorious land. Now, this Tartary, he imagines it to be a land. This Tartary is a land. And this is not a real land, it is just his imagination. Now, the land of Tartary does not exist in reality. That means there was no state like Tartary. It was only his imagination that he imagined. Now, this is the only poet's imagination that he sees such a great land and thinks himself the king of that land. He only sees this land in his imagination and he sees himself as if he was the king of this Tartary. Now we'll look into the poem line by line. Okay, now the first 2 lines says, If I were Lord of Tartary, myself and me alone. Now he imagined himself to be the Lord of Tartary. He thinks that he is the king of this glorious land. Now, while he imagined himself to be the king of this Tartary and he doesn't want to share his kingship. That means he alone wants to be the king of this land. And what does he say further? My bed should be of ivory. Now, where one side he doesn't want to share his kinship with anyone and wants to rule this imaginary land alone. Now he says that I want to relax. I want to relax in a bed that should be made of ivory. Okay, so what is the meaning of ivory? Ivory is in tusk of elephant. Now, on one side, he wants his bed to be made of ivory. Now, on the other hand, he says that I want my chair. The royal chair should be made of pure gold. Now, the fifth line says, and in my court should peacocks flaunt, and in my forest tigers haunt. Now, this poet, he wishes to have a forest. Now he imagines that in his forest all kinds of animals will live, including tigers. Now one side he wishes that peacock will dance for him and they will show their beauty. And the other side, what the tigers will do? They will hunt. They'll be hunting in the forest. Now next it says that in my pools, great fishes slant their fins athwart the sun. Now, next he says that in his pool, he imagines the pool with beautiful fishes that are swimming. And these beautiful fishes, their fins are shining. And it is shining in the light of sun. Okay, now the next he says, if I were Lord of Tartary, trumpeters every day. Now, why he wants trumpeters? He says that, now, to all my meals should summon me, and in my courtyards bray. Now, the poet over here desires that there would be trumpeters in his court who on time of every meal should call him by playing their trumpets in a loud voice. Just like in school, no? After every period we get the bell rang. That is a warning, no, that the next period has started. So here also this poet, he imagines that I want trumpeters so that they will play a loud music, and when they will play this loud music, it is a warning for him that it is time for a meal. Like before having every meal, they should make a loud noise. So this is why he wanted trumpeters to play loud music. Now the next line he says, and in the evening lamps should shine, yellow as honey, red as wine, while harp and flute and mandolin made music sweet and gay. Now here poet gives a picture of evening. Now how he wishes his evening to be. Like we as children, what do you do in the evening? You usually go out and play with your friends, or some of you go to study tuitions. But this poet, he has a very different imagination to spend his evening. And how it was different from us, let's see. Now, while giving the picture of evening, he says that in the evening lamps would shine. The evening lamps you must have seen. Now those lamps, it gives you light. Now he says that the evening lamps will shine, and while those lamps will shine, how it will look? It will look yellow as honey. He compared the light, the shining of the lamps with honey, yellow as honey and red as wine. Now what is a wine? Wine is a drink. Okay, while harp and flute and mandolin made music sweet and gay. And on the other hand, what he wants? He wants these musical instruments, harp, flute and mandolin, to be played by the musical artist, by the musicians, and to make his evening more pleasant and delightful. All the musicians of his court should play the music so that he can enjoy his evening. So this is how he imagined himself to be in the land of Tartary. So to students, today we'll stop till here, and in the next part of the video we'll finish off this poem. So thank you and take care.